Hello and welcome to Watch Talk Fun. I'm your host, Griffin.
And I'm Joseph.
This is definitely not the third take we've done.
I'm guessing it won't be the last either.
Probably not. We are two small-town boys living right outside of Philadelphia. We've known each other since high school. We like to talk about random stuff sometimes. And we figured it might be interesting to put it out there. I mean, I thought that.
Yes.
At the very least. So full of dialogue. So today we were planning on covering a lot of topics over however long this channel lasts. Hopefully, I want to take it as far as we can. But the idea is to have sort of like intelligent dialogue, like deep conversations. About
you are disgusting. Hi, come listen to our podcast and us burping directly into the microphone because manners don't matter. Ha! So one of the things that we wanted to accomplish with this podcast was we wanted to have those kind of conversations that you have late at night with your friends, and you just have these very deep, intelligent, or completely bullshit conversations that sometimes mean nothing, but they're very intriguing.
Yes, that is eloquently put.
Eloquent's a strong word. So, yeah. We will be trying to do this podcast. We're aiming to be about 45 minutes, maybe, perhaps.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's a very loose conversation kind of podcast.
I liked what you said about like late night conversations. I would liken it to like either the late night talks where everyone's kind of loopy, or if you are a partaker of certain substances, those kinds of talks that you have, whether they are deep or not. Sometimes it's interesting to hear them.
I do not advocate substances.
No, he does not.
We have a sort of very different views on certain things.
Yes.
We've been friends since 2007, 2008.
Something.
And it has been almost 10 years.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're old.
Holy shit.
We lived together for a bit as roommates.
Mm-hmm.
That was horrible.
It wasn't that bad.
I've never had to learn around living someone's pooping schedule. That was just... That was a new thing. I didn't know it was a thing.
Oh, yeah. It's my life.
Oh, God. We have dealt with horrible roommates together. We have dealt with each other together, which sometimes includes the horrible roommates because Griffin was a horrible roommate.
That's not entirely true.
I love you. It's okay. Let's see. We come from different backgrounds. We come from, different walks of life right now. I graduated with a bachelor's degree. Griffin is working towards his electrical engineering degree.
I mean, more or less. Well, it's not at all that.
Not engineering.
Technician. We just had Boston Market, and my God, was it delicious.
Oh my God, you disgust me.
Okay, Mr. Mac and Cheese.
Listen,
this motherfucker
is perfectly valid.
Here are my sides.
Mac and cheese.
He's like, here are my sides. I want mac and cheese, and then an extra mac and cheese.
So philosophy. So once again, overarching goal here is to just have those kind of conversations that you have with your friends, but with each other, because we have no friends. But that's okay. And we were hoping to have, interviews eventually of just a bunch of different topics.
Mm-hmm. And the point of Watch Talk Fun is basically it's... oh God!
You
so the majority.
We're gonna have to read this whole thing because you keep burping directly into.
We're leaving it in. So, so the main part of Watch Talk Fun is probably going to be talk. We'll see where it goes. Who knows?
We're not sure what we're going to do with the watching part.
Yes,
because we're audio podcasts. So.
Well, actually, me and my friend, the one who's coming down from Massachusetts.
Oh, we don't have to be friends. It's okay.
We're gonna probably do like not let's play type things. It's probably gonna be more best of moments and games and stuff.
All right.
Yeah, I mean it's fun. It's funny shit.
To you, okay. Subjective.
Do you just want to jump into the topic?
I just want to jump on you. Yes, we can jump into the topic. That's fine.
Philosophy.
What did you want to talk about with philosophy exactly?
Well, specifically that I have kind of changed philosophies in my life.
Really?
Yes.
Does everyone else know about this? Did you notify Socrates that you changed?
Okay, I wasn't sure if you're being facetious.
The only thing facetious here is your opinion. Sorry. I'm being assaultive.
You're being what?
That's a word.
Assaultive?
No.
I didn't think so.
I'm a salty person, but that's not a... I should talk to my friends more often. I'm actually funny. No, I'm not.
So anyway, I've decided... Well, okay. I don't know. I was listening to Alan Watts, who is this... A lot of you probably know about him, and are probably groaning immediately. But,
Should I groan? Would that make it more realistic?
Sure. Perfect.
I have no idea who this guy is.
He is he's a philosopher, but not in the sense of, like, Confucius and shit. What are you doing? Is that a pedometer?
I have a pedometer.
Are you cheating it?
Yes.
Why?
Well, now the world knows.
I'm talking about shit. He's shaking a pedometer. So I listened to an Alan Watts lecture. There's a lot of lectures online, and he kind of talks about Eastern philosophy, and he kind of puts it in Western ideas and stuff. Or he puts it in a sense that... He explains it in a way that makes sense to, like, Western philosophy students, I guess. I don't know.
He takes Eastern philosophy and makes it stupid for Western philosophers.
Yes.
There you go.
Well, a lot of it's, like, really weird to us. Like, it's unconventional.
Clearly, I was going to say, of course it's weird to us.
Like Zen stuff in general. Mm-hmm. I don't even pretend to know anything about it. But
so that's why we're talking about it, folks.
Well, no, it's Zen is weird because...
Zen is different from what you usually think about it.
Yeah, because the more you think you know about it, the less you do.
It's kind of the point of most philosophy.
Mm-hmm. It's not even like a belief. Like, if you believe in Zen, you're not doing it correctly.
That's not what that means. That's not that you don't believe in Zen.
Correct.
It is supposed to be a path by which, not path. It's supposed to be like a mentality state.
Yeah.
Not I believe in the almighty Zen and his teachings of Zenus.
Correct.
Who made wine Zen and water Zen into wine Zen.
Well, like for example, there's a part talking about how in order to have a lot of control in your life, generally speaking, you have to let go of control. Mm-hmm. And I was talking with one of my friends who's been in AA, and she was telling me that that's very similar to what they do. There, of course, you know that from your friend. Mm-hmm. Or our friend, I guess.
have multiple friends who are in AA.
Yeah, and they push like a belief in a higher power, not necessarily God, but just something greater than you.
Yeah.
Right. And to me, like I personally think that faith is necessary for people, in the sense of it doesn't have to be God or religion or anything like that. You can have faith in yourself. But the thing is that you still need that faith. You still need to believe in yourself, kind of thing. Or believe in a God, or believe in whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I don't think it's a need as much as it is it's a natural human behavior to believe in something. Whether or not... Now, like, when I say that, I don't mean it's naturally human to believe in religion A or religion B, because a lot of religion is indoctrination from the beginning. And I'm not saying that from a religion is evil.
From an atheist standpoint.
I'm saying from a militant atheist standpoint.
Okay.
I'm saying it from actually what it is. Mm-hmm. If you talk to psychologists, religious psychologists, I have one at my school who, because clearly at least one professor saying one thing obviously means it's true everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. So, from a psychology standpoint, it's exactly what it is. It is indoctrination.
Yeah.
Maybe a better way to put it is if you don't teach them to believe in religion, like a child to believe in religion, they're not going to believe in religion. That's how that works.
You don't think... Well, I mean, what about people who find God later in life?
That's different. That's
okay.
What I'm saying is, from a child growth perspective, they're not going to believe in God.
Oh, like naturally.
Like, that's not how that works.
Okay, yeah.
It is a purely taught system.
Yes, okay. I can get behind that.
Whether or not that's right or wrong, not what I'm concerned about. I mean, what I would say is, for people who find God later in life, that's them.
Yes.
That is their choice. But so I'm an atheist. It's not even that. The only reason I use the term atheist is because it's a religious term to describe a person who's not religious. And most people are like, oh, well, you can't prove God doesn't exist, so you must be agnostic.
Well, first of all, I'm not letting go of the religical bit, because...
I used the word religical instead of religious.
I know, it was great. But secondly, agnostic, I thought was just, like, you didn't know, right? You weren't just like... You're like,
open to it happening. However, the official definition of agnostic means that it's not that you don't believe God exists, or he doesn't exist, it's that you don't know.
Okay, yeah.
When I say atheist, however you want to take that, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because the fact of the matter is, for me personally, religion's not a part of my life.
Yeah.
It is not something that is on the forefront of my mind. It is not something that I particularly care about. The only thing that concerns me about religion is when religion is used as a weapon rather than a tool for a community. Okay.
Oh, and just like as a quick aside, the reason I wonder if anyone's listening going like, philosophy, they're just talking about religion. In my mind, religion falls under the same umbrella as philosophy, in the sense that, like, there's, like, science and stuff, and, like, there's, these are hard facts, and this proves this, or this, usually it's this disproves this. But in religion and stuff of faith and stuff of, like, the philosophy realm, you can't really prove anything, right? So I tackle religion the same way I tackle philosophical conversations, which is there is no winning because there is no argument. It's a discussion.
I wouldn't say that religion and philosophy are one, but they do play in a similar space, with that space being how to phrase it?
Unfalsifiable arguments?
No, they deal with a space of the human person, the human person, like the psyche of a person, that forces you to either think or ignore.
Okay.
And personally, I feel like the religion part of that is more not ignorance as much as it is they understand that there is something that they don't understand.
Okay.
And they are okay with that.
Okay.
They're okay with giving God as an answer. And I don't want this to come off as that's wrong. That's perfectly fine. That's
it's just not for you.
That's not how I see things. When I go into conversation saying we're going to talk about philosophy, I'm expecting the philosophical behaviors and thought processes behind a human being.
Okay.
And certainly religion plays into that area, and it does dip into that. They both dip into each other. That is a two-way street. But when I personally hear the word philosophy, what I think of is, questions of self.
Okay.
And let me put it this way. Philosophy is a question. Religion is an answer.
Okay, I like that.
It's a way to answer the question.
Yeah. Okay. No,
science is a way to answer the question.
Okay. I would argue that science and philosophy don't mesh as well, just because in certain philosophy, like at a certain point in philosophy, you can't go any further with answering because it's like, well, how do you know?
It depends on where the philosophy is being examined.
No. What I'm saying is like, how do you know? And then like with that bit of philosophy, then you can just immediately cancel out an argument because it's like there's no way to prove that you know. There's no way to prove that you exist.
You're right, and there's no way to prove a lot of things in science. They're theories.
Correct.
A lot of things are theories because they don't have... They have very strong evidence.
Very strong evidence.
Very strong.
Yeah.
But there's always that one...
I mean, like,
a bajillionth of a percentage.
I'd say that, like, that theory... Well, I said that laws, especially, like the laws of physics and stuff like that, those typically are considered...
So, what I was going to retort was that the laws of physics, they exist. They certainly exist.
Yeah.
But if you follow the rabbit hole of the questions that come to these laws as answers, you find that they are... There are always questions regarding the answers you get to the questions that brought you to the law. Like, as you trace backwards, you always find another question, and eventually you stop being able to give an answer to one of those questions. Eventually, it's dead ends. And maybe we will find the answer to that. But the laws of physics are not laws of God as much as... That's not the way to say it. They are laws, de facto laws, not instantiated laws.
Without people, these things would still be happening.
They would still be happening, but also it is possible for them to stop being laws and not like just stop. There are reasons, but there is no causality of. I'm struggling to explain.
No, I kind of see what you're going at because it's like...
They are laws based on the evidence that they are in existence.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, like, at a certain point, you start asking questions, well, why is gravity... Or, like, why does gravity behave the way it does? Why can't it act this way? Or why can't the speed of light be this number or this number? Why is it only this number? And it's like... We don't fucking know.
No.
Well, in the sense of, like, it could exist, but we're stuck in this universe that has these rules.
They're not rules, though. We can interpret that they are rules, but in reality, it's just how things behave for us.
Okay.
Like, let me to frame it differently. Let's say you take a monkey.
Okay.
And I'm not taking credit for this argument. I don't even remember where I heard this. But let's just
do you
go
have a
with
monkey?
this. You take a chimpanzee. You take them to the forest. They're in a forest. They see a tree. They climb the tree. They get the banana. You take that chimpanzee who has an entire world that is the forest, the jungle, not the fungal, the forest or jungle, and its world. That is its existence.
Okay.
You take them to New York City. You show them the
New York City.
Well, the
like
skyscrapers and
the concrete jungle.
The concrete jungle.
Yes.
Let's go with that. And you show them these skyscrapers. You can go as far as picking up bricks and putting them on top of one another and pretending you're building a skyscraper.
Yeah.
they will never make the connection that humans built that.
Correct.
It is outside of their realm of existence. They don't even understand. Like, you can bring the monkey there.
Are we the monkey?
We're the monkey, okay. And the skyscraper is the laws of physics. Now, to be fair, we are getting really good at climbing the stairs.
Yeah. No, I got you.
Like, it's not that we don't understand, but it's... Okay, so there's...
No, I heard, like, a fun thing that was saying, like, that described knowledge as like a spotlight on a meadow, and it's dark everywhere, but you can see a little bit of the grass, and you kind of get a general understanding of what's around it, but it's very limited. And then as you know more, that light starts to expand, and you start to see more of the meadow. You're like, okay, I think that might be a root. There might be a tree over there. Or, oh shit, there's some flowers and stuff. But as that keeps getting bigger, that circumference of darkness exponentially increases. Mm-hmm. So the more that we know, exponentially more we don't know. So
for the whole point of what I was saying was the laws of physics are laws because they behave the same way
pretty consistently
all the time, pretty much.
Yeah.
As far as we're concerned, gravity always works. Doesn't usually just stop.
It's like math and stuff. How it's all conceptual. It's all stuff that we made up to just basically help put labels on things in the universe.
Absolutely. The math is. So you made a statement earlier. Why is the speed of light always that number?
Yeah.
And I know you were exaggerating. Like there are actual reasons.
Well, I mean, we don't know the actual reason.
But to answer the specific question, I know the question you were asking.
Yes.
But the words that you used, why is it this number?
Yes.
The reason it is that number is because of all the other numbers that we have used to describe everything else before it, bring it to that relational number.
Oh, I understand. Yeah. So basically the things that we already put numbers to, we then measured the speed of light and we were like, okay, using this information, that's the number it gets.
Yes.
Okay, no, I 100% agree with that. And what I was saying was less about why is it this number. Yeah.
But what I'm getting at here is that, like, for example, imagine you have people who are not computer scientists or aren't very versed with computers won't understand this. Mm-hmm. Well, they will understand.
Only 90 kids will get this.
What? 90 kids look at this? Take someone and teach them how to do math in a binary system.
Okay.
Instead of base 10, teach them base 2.
Okay.
They will be like, what are we even doing? Because we don't think about it, but the way we treat numbers is a base 10 system.
It is.
And you know that, but you don't know what that means in terms of what is that, how is that different than a base 2 system, or a base 3, or base 4.
As like a quick aside, there are hypotheses out there that humans naturally have a logarithmic internal number system instead of like they would say what's between 1 and 10, and most people will say, or between 1 and 9, and people will say 6, which is between 1 and 9, right? Or am I going crazy?
Yes, 6 is between 1 and 9.
So what the fuck was it? It was between 1 and...
Come on, struggle bus.
The point is that I think they were I think they said 3 was between 1 and 9 or whatever. Because on a logarithmic scale, that does make sense. But in traditional number lines, it doesn't. I'm definitely misremembering the numbers and stuff.
Yes, you are.
But it has to do with
Do you know why we have why it's a logarithmic scale?
No.
Because we made it a base 10.
Well, I mean, I could have guessed
that. Because we if you think about it, the reason most people know logs the way they do is because that's how we treat numbers. Someone, somewhere along the line in the Roman Empire, not the Roman Empire, we decided we are going to group these in sets of 10. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yes.
Is going to be a grouping of numbers.
Yes.
And then when we have another 10, we will have 1 10, and we will start a new set. Digits are from 0 to 9.
Which is interesting because it turns out that all humans are born with this ability to automatically know if there is 4 or fewer things in front of us.
Okay.
Like if I threw 3 pennies, without counting, you would know that there's 3 pennies. You would just know immediately. Up to about 4, which is also why pretty much throughout all of history, when you look at old tally systems, they always tend to they seem to always do something different at 5. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, you can just look at it and it's 4. And then they do something different for 5 because once it hits 5, it starts getting muddy. And you have to actually go is that 4 or 1, 2, 3? And they have to get close to whatever it is and count it.
We should probably put resources that give validity to what we say.
Yeah,
instead of just talking and then I mean in show notes or something, we should put these are the sources that we got our information from.
No, absolutely.
Because we're not just full of shit.
No, absolutely not. I watch a lot of Vsauce, and a lot of what I know comes from that. Well, not a lot, but a healthy amount of what I'm talking about right now comes from that. I remember he was talking about that number line shit with the logarithmic stuff and blah 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 blah. I'll throw it in the description if I can find it. But yeah,
there is a. So back to finish my thought. If you teach someone a base 2 system, I can actually kind of teach it to you right now. If you want to learn how to read binary, do a base 2 system because that's what it is. It is either yes or it is no. The number 1 in binary is 1.
Yes.
The number 2 in binary is 1 0.
Yes.
The number 3 in binary is 1 1. 4 is 1 0 1. Or 1 0 0.
Yeah, it's
and then it's 1 0 1 for 5. Then 1 1 0 for 6 and 1 1 1 for 7.
Correct.
The reason that is because just in a base 10 system, we roll over into the next number. 10 is easy because when you look at it, we have been taught and trained that the 10, the 1 and the 0, that is the number we chose for the next number after 9.
Yes.
And I know that sounds like no shit.
No, I got you.
But
because it is...
the reason that's important is because we have made 0 to 9 be in one space.
Yes.
Of a digit, it is one physical location. You can look at it, it is there.
Yeah.
When we go into 10, we now have one of the next size of log of the next point.
And then after you get to 20, it's 2 of the next set.
It is one set of 9. It is one set.
It's one set of 9 plus.
Well, one set of 10 items.
Yes.
But we don't have a digit for the number after 9.
Yeah.
We have 1 and a 0.
And then you start it over. Yeah.
You have one full set of 10s and a 0.
I actually never thought of it that way. That's kind of interesting.
When you get to 19, you get two sets of 10 and 0 of digits.
Yes.
That's what that is. So if you look at a binary system, what happens is you have 1, then you have one set of 2s and 0 1s. So that is a 2. 1 0 is one set of base 2, 0. And then when you go to 3, you have one set of base 2 and 1. So it's 1 1. One set of 4s is 1 0 0 because you have one set of one set of 2s. Because it's 0, and then you have 0, but you have 1. The only way you get to the 4, which is the 1 0 0, is because you have one binary set of binary numbers.
I think my brain just melted a little bit.
Do you get what I'm saying, though?
I think so, yeah.
It would be equivalent to saying, to get to 100, you have a 50 and a 50.
Oh, okay.
Or 5 and a 5 is 2 half sets of 10. So when you meld them together, you get one set of 10.
So instead of writing 10, you would write 5, 5. In this example.
Not exactly.
Okay.
It's exponential. What you really need to look at is you need to look at the number of spaces after the decimal point.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, you'll notice that I have 10 sets of 10s. I had 100.
Okay. Like, I definitely learned binary at a certain point, but the way you're explaining it does make sense. It's interesting.
Yeah. Like, you can have a base log, you can have a base 3 system.
Mm-hmm.
0, 1, 2, 3 would be 1, 0.
So basically, every time you switch to a new set, it turns into 10.
Every time you finish the base number, which is 3, you add one. You add another digit
to the beginning
to the size.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay, that does make sense. That's interesting. Back to the my personal philosophy thing.
What, did I cut you off or something?
No, we both have ADHD, so we go on tangents.
Sorry, I'm the derailing train.
Yes.
I broke your train of thought.
Well, so growing up, we were both very much logical. Like I remember very distinctly dissociating myself from emotions, like being proud of it, right? I'm the super logical guy. You know, I think with my brain. I don't think with my heart.
Or my penis.
So as you would expect, virgin until 19, right?
That Sprite can.
So, you know, like, that's just been me. Like, I would say I recently, I guess when I was early 20s, started merging, like, the emotion and logic part of my brain. Excuse me.
Again.
It's, listen, this is a condition, I guess. I don't know.
It's called being Griffin.
This is called being Griffin. I just literally ask anyone that I've ever dated.
It's called griffining.
Yes. Hashtag griffining.
I actually have a shirt with that on it, you know that, right?
No, I know. It's mine.
Did I buy that for you?
Your mom did.
Oh. Right. My mom actually bought that shirt for you.
Yeah. I remember. Everyone always asks me, why do you have a shirt that says hashtag griffining? And I'm like, my friend's mom got it for me. I'm not making that up. But I digress.
Also, my mom gets really jealous that I go to the movies with your mom.
Anyway.
And all my coworkers make fun of me for it.
I mean, good. So...
I mean, they're talking about sexually things with your mother. I'm like, that's not how that works.
No, not at all. So... I guess recently I've been kind of not in a great place mentally. And I'll definitely link this. But I can talk about this. I say that let's talk about this more later. But there was a post on the ADHD subreddit talking about something called like rejection-sensitive dysphoria. And without going too far into it, it basically means that rejection-type things affect us a lot harder than people realize. Like it's like almost painful to the point where I shut down. And once I read that, I kind of realized, holy shit, this basically explains my entire life.
So wait, to describe it to people who don't have ADHD, imagine your biggest fear. Like, I'll put it this way. Imagine for a moment, or just remember for a moment, if you actually are afraid of heights, that you're afraid of heights. And someone literally kicks you out of a plane.
Well,
and then you realize, not only are you falling out of a plane, you are falling through the center of the earth, and you will always be falling, because you'll get to the other side, and you'll pass gravity, and gravity will be like, yo, come on through, and you'll go right back through. Like, that's the kind of fear we have when we like go to ask a girl out on a date.
I would say it's more akin to like if I said, hey, this is like a cool passion of mine, and if I'm met with indifference, to me it instead of just being like, oh, they are like them personally are not interested in my thing, whatever. I take it as they're not interested in it. That means that I shouldn't be interested in it. Why am I so stupid? Like it goes like really fast down the path of just like, oh my god, I'm being like my ideas are being rejected. That means I'm being rejected, which means I'm terrible.
Hey guys, I play board games. Oh, I don't really like board games all the time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'll burn them. I promise. Why don't you love me?
So yeah. So point is, it gets pretty intense. So I was dealing with that revelation, and
it is actually pretty trippy when you realize that.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous, and just like kind of coming to grips with all that stuff, and then again, I can go into this more later, but the point is that I was at a point where I felt like I didn't have a lot of control, and I've always been about trying to control my life, right? Now that I kind of started to understand myself almost completely. I started to move on to like that control thing. Like that one piece was like the missing piece of my puzzle, and like someone just mailed it, and it was like, oh shit, I forgot. This was like supposed to be with you like 26 years ago. Here you go. And I'm like, fucking, are you serious?
We accidentally mailed this to China.
Yeah.
Just as a side note.
Yeah.
You do not fully understand yourself. Don't even try. Just because you've been with yourself for 26 plus years doesn't mean you know a damn thing about who you are.
I would argue...
That's a little harsh. Just because you've known yourself for 25, 30, 40, 60 years doesn't mean you don't have anything to teach yourself or learn.
Oh, no. I don't mean that. I mean, I understand myself as I am right now.
You understand yourself more than you did yesterday.
Yeah, well, what... I feel like understanding oneself doesn't directly imply that you are no longer needing improvement.
No. I'm saying no one ever fully understands themselves.
Okay.
You can get pretty close. It's like science.
Okay, yeah, I will agree with that then. And so exactly that. So I've always been trying to reach for all this control, like, I need to control my life. You see people like that all the time.
Yeah, it's you. I'm literally not just shooting you in the foot. I'm just...
No, and I agree. I was 100% like that. And I've since started to kind of realize that, the most control you have in your life is when you stop trying to control it, and when you delegate that control to someone else. For example, the 4th of July was recently, and we were going to meet you at your house, which we're currently at. Mm-hmm. Instead, the plan changed, and you said, meet me at my mom's, which is, like, not too far, right? It wasn't that big of a deal.
A block?
Exactly. In my head, I was thinking, like, it's not that far away, but we still have to walk to wherever we're going. Are we going to walk from there? And I had all these questions, and then I'm like, you know what? I figure I trust Joe. He probably has an idea of what we're doing. So I just left it at that. I'm like, okay, I'll see you when I get there. And
your sister, however,
yeah, my sister freaked out. But
oh my god, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, and then when we get there, I'm like, hey, so what are we doing? And you're like, oh, we'll just go back to my place afterwards. I'm like, okay, cool. But like, and exactly that. But it's like it's such a simple thing to do, but it's so hard to do, especially if you're used to doing it. Because it feels weird to not knowing everything, like especially if you're used to it. If you're used to finding out all the information about something before you make a decision, well, you'll find that there's, like we were talking about earlier, at a certain point you realize that you're going to keep going down that rabbit hole. There's always something that you can't account for. Mm-hmm. And so you're basically just driving yourself crazy.
You're driving yourself in circles, which is crazy.
Yeah. So instead, I'm just like, I'm just going to, let go of the wheel. Like, Jesus, take the wheel! Essentially, you're relinquishing control of your own life to something else. You're like, okay, fine. I don't have control right now, and that's perfectly okay. And once you do that, and it does turn out okay, then you go, holy shit, I have so much more time I can think about other stuff now, and like not drive myself crazy worrying about one thing.
Yeah. There's one thing that I've noticed in my 26 years of total wisdom, right? Because
Yeah.
I am just fucking Gandalf the Grey. One thing that I've definitely noticed is you don't realize how much time you spend thinking and worrying.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's more than just how much time. No one really always, from my experience, not many people notice that they spend so much time concerned about something that is probably not something they need to be concerned about.
Exactly.
But more than just the time, the brain power they expend.
Yeah, it's the energy.
Let me finish. It's more than that.
Okay.
The way I think about my brain, and the way everyone should probably think about their brains, because totally I know everything, is your brain is a computer. Fun fact, humans build things in their image. All the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, actually.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we're restricted by the way our brains are set up.
No, just anything about us. Mm-hmm. Like, think about cubicles. What do they resemble?
We are very square. We were right.
No.
They resemble lame people from the 70s and 80s.
They resemble cells working together.
Very boxy cells. It makes sense organizationally, same thing with calendars and stuff. But I will argue that it's very fractal based. And I have and there's a long running theory that it's...
Okay, that was more of a, hey, look at the giant ball of yarn outside the window, not get out and take pictures with it. That's what that comment was.
What?
I want to reel you back into what I was trying to get at.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I understand. Okay.
Biggest ball of yarn in the world! What I was getting at here was people don't... The way I see my brain, and the way the brain really is it's a computer. It is absolutely a computer. Mm-hmm. It only has so much RAM.
Yeah.
And the longer period of time you spend with that one tab open in Chrome to Amazon with your shopping cart that you really like, you're not sure if you want that pair of socks, but you kind of do, but you kind of don't, but you don't want to close it because you're afraid that it'll go away because you don't know how computers work yet. Like, it takes up some processing power. Mm-hmm. And it will keep taking up that process. It is allotted to that process of keeping that information in the back of your mind. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot. Mm-hmm. Like, if you think about it...
I mean, you're basically saying exactly what I said, but just in a different way.
You spend, like
you have more energy and more time in your brain now that all that stuff has been, like, you're just kind of letting it go. Because you realize, oh, if I let this go, I'm not going to die. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, shit, okay, cool. Now I can actually, like, I feel a little bit more relaxed. And
it's like restarting your phone.
Pretty much, yeah. How, like, it slows down after a while because there's just so much shit happening, and you just...
And you throw it in the trash because it's an iPhone and it's garbage.
Exactly.
Buy half our fan base. It's okay.
Yeah, buy half our 0 subscribers.
Yeah. But here's what I want to say that's very important. Like, I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Mm-hmm. Because when you go to a job for the first time,
man, you're just full of the anecdotes. Not anecdotes, analogies.
I'm really good at analogies. 90% of what I say is an analogy. It's almost like...
Sorry,
I really wanted to make that into an analogy, but I couldn't. It's almost like what?
It's almost like what, bitch?
Anyway, so when you go to work at a new place, or whenever you do anything, or you're trying to get someone to do a job for you, people assume that they are getting 100% of that person's attention. And that is not true.
Correct.
So, to put this in retrospect, when you go to work, what are you thinking about? You're thinking about what you have to do for dinner tonight. You're thinking about some family trouble, or you're thinking about something you ordered from Amazon. You want that really cool pair of socks.
I would actually stop you there and argue that might not be the case. Some people I've seen are completely devoted to their job and only think about their job while they're there.
That's not what I'm getting at. It's not that they don't think about these things.
Yeah.
I'm saying they have family troubles at home.
Okay.
Like, maybe they are having bill troubles. They're not constantly thinking about, like, oh, I don't have enough money. But the emotional weight and worry they have from the fact that they are having trouble paying their bills is taking up processing power in their brain.
Yes.
In the background. It's not actively thought about, but it's there. When you have someone working on something, you will never have them working on it 100%. Mm-hmm. It is physically impossible, because what people don't realize is that you think, okay, great, let's say this one thing that's worrying me right now is 1% of my total thought process. 1%. That's not a lot. I got 99 more of them. Well, 40 of them are taken up by family issues and friendships and what you're going to be doing next week or how your emotions are. Another 20% are how much you have to go get. You have to remind yourself to go get gas later tonight, or any other number of things. When you go to do something, you have, I would, not as a hard number, but like, you have to remember when you're taking that 1%, it's not 1% of the whole. It's sometimes 1% of what you have left.
And that actually leads back to this philosophy that I kind of started going with, this like kind of Zen-ish Buddhist philosophy. I would say that a lot of Buddhist philosophy comes with being present, which is very, very difficult to do for a modern American person. And you have to understand that a lot of what we think and what we believe and like our ideas of society are all based in Western culture, right? This could not be a problem somewhere else. But we spend so much time thinking about what we're doing tomorrow, what we did yesterday, that a lot of times we forget what we're doing right now, or we don't pay attention to it. We don't stop and smell the roses.
We wait till tomorrow to think about what we did yesterday.
Yes. So becoming present really does, like, to a certain extent, like, you still have to worry about some stuff, but like, you absolutely should be present in certain situations. Like, if you're out having a good time, there's no reason to think about, oh man, like, if you have a set time where you're going there and leaving, there's no point in going there and just worrying about all the stuff you have to do when you get home. Because you're going to have to do it anyway, right? So why, like, to a certain extent, sometimes it might be nice to kind of go into a certain mode and start thinking about it. Like, when I would DM, a lot of times I would put my brain into that mode hours before, just so I'm used to that whole, like, okay, well, this question and getting my brain ready for all of that, like, improv I need to do. But if you're out and enjoying yourself, it's really important to just enjoy yourself and like, kind of just be present. Don't think about past or future, just think about what's happening now. And a good way to do that is to basically say, like, is to just start describing things. It's I forget what it's called, but it's like, oh, it's pedometer, right? You're holding the pedometer that you're shaking. It's like, okay, describe it.
It's black.
Keep going.
It's got a clip. It's got the time 8:42 and 5,107 steps. It has 2 little feet on it. It has a circle and there's a bunch of little dots.
But like the weight?
Pretty light. It's got a nice weight to it. I can smack someone with it. Make me feel better about myself.
But like looking at it and like describing it, you become more and more present because you stop thinking about things that are happening or have happened and blah blah blah. Like you just, it's mindfulness. That's what it is. You just start focusing on this one thing and you're like, oh, okay. And a lot of people do that to meditate.
I was going to mention. There's a app called Headspace.
Okay.
And it's an app. It helps you meditate. It's done it's like talk. He talks you through it.
Guided meditation.
Guided meditation. Thank you. And he's a Zen Buddhist.
Okay.
And the whole idea of it is mindfulness.
Yes.
Because what's important is that not about thinking about what you're going to say in response to someone, because if you're thinking about what you're going to say in response to them,
you're not hearing.
You're not listening to
them. Yeah, exactly.
On top of...
Actually, can we... Like, that in and itself is such a complicated and deep word package. Like, the whole, like, if you're thinking about what you're going to say after them, you're not listening. And so many people do that now.
Everyone does it.
Yeah, but, like, you see a lot of... Recently, you see a lot more extremist, like, just people in general. Like, extremist people who are, you know, like, ISIS and shit, they are awful and deserve to die. But then you get to, like, the people who are intolerant of that, which is great. But then some people get so intolerant of it that they start becoming intolerant of anything that isn't them. So you could have, like, a slightly different opinion on something, like, well, maybe, I don't think banks are all that bad, and then they're like, they already have a response for you because they already know what they're going to say to someone like you.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not listening anymore, and it stops being a conversation, and it starts being a narrative that they're filling.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress.
What I was getting at there was that whenever you're in a conversation, stop for a moment and think about what you're going to say. Or, no, sorry. Stop. Don't do that. Stop and think about... Well, no. That is what I meant.
I would say, like, stop and think about what they said.
After what they've said,
stop
and think about what you're going to say before you say it.
Because but after they speak.
After they speak, wait, formulate what you're going to say, then say it.
Yeah.
And there's a huge difference when you do that. Because what happens is that if you get yourself into the pattern of doing that, you get yourself into the pattern of not thinking about what you're going to say until after they've spoken.
Correct.
Which means that you're sitting there and hopefully listening.
Exactly.
Also, Headspace is really awesome. I wish they have a subscription for it. I've used their service a bit in the past. It's very nice.
Cool. We are not sponsored by anyone, by the way. This is our first episode. That'd be super impressive.
You're impressive, Dad.
I am not his father.
Okay, son.
Excuse me.
Disgust me. You need to let go of a lot of what you think about that you don't even realize you're thinking about.
Yeah.
I have been starting to do this thing where I write down in a journal what I've done. Or not even what I've done, just things that bounce to the front of my head right before I go to bed. Like, oh, I need to take out the trash, or, I mean, that's a bad example, but like...
No, I mean, that can be, I understand. Like, things that, as someone with ADHD, I understand the whole, like, going to bed and being like, well, I guess my brain's not tired anymore.
Not at all what I was saying.
Oh, well, whatever.
You should practice listening.
You should practice sucking my dick.
And then, you should practice listening.
I did listen.
No, you didn't, because you didn't let me finish. Dad. So, I've been doing this thing where I write down what's been going on in my head, and some of it doesn't even make sense. It's just thoughts that I'm having. And the only reason I've been doing it is because some days I feel like my brain's super full. Because I do a lot of reading and I do a lot of learning in my job. So what happens is I jam a lot of information in there and then I forget to remove some.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to get in the habit of writing down this information because not necessarily that I need it, but because the act of writing it on paper allows me to get it out of my skull.
Yeah.
And it makes room for new information.
It's kind of like...
releasing processes.
Yeah, and I would say that I had this thought a little while ago that books and stuff, like, our brain is a computer, like you said. Which, okay, so where does that make books?
Hard drive.
Exactly. It's like it's a storage medium for our brain. Mm-hmm. It's external. It's an external hard drive, basically.
What are whiteboards?
Exactly.
RAM.
Mm-hmm.
Not RAM. They're more like a flash drive.
I consider it like an external RAM thing.
It's a second RAM stick.
There you go.
It's like more permanent RAM.
Yeah, it's essentially like a book, but it's made for just like
Expo markers.
Yes.
Only Expo markers.
Only Expo markers.
Screw that knockoff stuff.
But yeah, so just living by this kind of, try not to worry about so much stuff and just kind of trying to... Honestly, I'm trying to enjoy myself. I'm trying to live a happy life, right? Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. Well, first of all, happiness is not something that's to be obtained. It's something that just comes to you. That's something that took me forever to figure out. That if you spend your life trying to chase happiness, you will never get it.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to get happiness is to just kind of just live your life and then, oh look, the happiness bird landed on my boat.
I'm on a boat.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucker. Don't you ever forget.
I can link down below the CGP Grey thing that talks about 7 ways to be to maximize misery. Well, I mean, the first...
I get it.
The first couple ones I saw, I had to stop watching it because of how hard it hit me. I'm like, wow, I do all of this. But, a Buddhist philosophy is that, one of the main ones is that the cause of suffering is desire. The fact that we desire causes suffering. And it's like, okay, well, I don't want to suffer anymore. I want, how do I stop desiring? And then the monk, this is part of an Alan Watts lecture, the monk would say, go over there, meditate, and try and let go of desire. And they would go and they would meditate for hours, and they'd come back always frustrated. Because
they desire to get rid of their...
Exactly. Because after a while they realize they can't get rid of that desire, and wanting to stop desiring is a desire in itself. And so the monk goes, well, okay, go back and try not to desire as much as you can. And then they go out and then they come back, they're like, I'm still desiring. It's it's okay, you can desire, just don't desire as much as you are able to. Accept the fact that you're going to desire things, but just try to not as much as you can. Doesn't matter, it's fine. And they would just keep doing that, and you might see where it's going, where they're bringing them to center.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is. It's that a lot of this philosophy that I'm going by is the realization that we're going to have all these sins that we live with and stuff like that, and all these bad things that we do. But without them, what are we?
Without sadness, how do you have happiness?
Exactly. So, it's okay to want, it's okay to do all these things. In fact, you need to do it in order to be a human. Because without it, what are you?
You ever watched a child learn?
I don't know.
More particularly, how many times has someone told you, hey, don't do that thing, you're gonna burn your face off. And you're like, okay, Ma, I won't put the pan on my face directly off the stove.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you learn? Don't put your pan...
Put the pan on your parent next time. This is a weapon.
This is for zombie apocalypse.
Oh shit! I could seriously hurt someone with this. Oh god, my face hurts so much.
but seriously, you tell a child,
yes,
do not touch the stove. It is hot.
Okay.
Versus the child accidentally touches a hot stove.
Yeah.
Which one is less likely to touch the hot stove?
The one who touches it.
There you go.
We learn by example,
we learn by getting burned.
Yeah. Well, I would argue if we saw our parent get burned by the hot stove, we would not do it.
Actually, I would not argue that. I would argue that, or I wouldn't. I would argue that. I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I would say it's actually slightly more likely that they would touch it because they're like, why did that burn them?
I think you underestimate how much parents affect their children. Like
That's not what I'm referring to. I'm saying you're using a parent as a specific example. I'm saying,
yeah.
How many times have you seen someone try and do something and go like they get shocked by something?
Oh, and then someone runs up
and then someone goes up and they do it.
Well, okay.
Okay, we're getting slightly off topic of our not topic, but
the
point I'm trying to make here is that we can tell each other, don't do X, don't do Y.
Yeah.
This is bad, this is good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one thing to be told something and another thing to do it.
Yes.
And get hurt by it.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. And I don't remember why we went down this path of conversation. But
well,
it was a point that I was making.
I guess I'll end it with, there is a fundamental difference between knowing and understanding. You know not to touch the stove because it hurts, but if you've never touched the stove, you don't understand
why
yes.
you shouldn't touch. That's a very good, that is a very eloquent way to say that.
So, with this philosophy stuff, the point of it is like, everyone's... I guess like the last thing I want to talk about with Zen is just like, it's not even, this isn't even really like Zen, but I personally think it is. Like, this isn't something that I learned, this is something that I kind of accept, and I have accepted for a while. You know the phrase, everything happens for a reason?
Yeah.
The phrase that I closely adhere to, and this is actually, I'm pretty sure this is from Dr. Horrible.
Sounds perfect.
At one point, he just says, everything happens. And, you know, the line is like, oh, don't say it for a reason. He's like, no, everything happens. Everything just happens. And to me, that is a really good representation of Zen, because everything happens. You're just in this. There is no, for a reason, there is no anything like that. It's just is. Zen is just is. You just are.
I have to agree with that.
Yeah.
I know that tangentially, like...
But you pop some Valium?
What?
You just got like...
Yes. No, there are... People beat themselves up for not learning something sooner, not learning something faster, or not getting something done earlier, or not realizing something 12 years ago. And the fact of the matter is, you weren't going to realize it, or you weren't going to learn it, or you weren't going to get it, or you weren't going to do it until you were ready to do it. So stop beating the shit out of yourself for taking the time you needed. Now, sometimes it is a little long to get from point A to point B. And it's not the most efficient way to do it.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you learned more from point A to point B than the person who did it the fastest. Because you have to give yourself credit. Like, I started going to college in 2009. It is 2017, and I graduated in 2016. So it took me 7 years to complete college. I took 1.5 years of college, and I had to leave school. I don't think I was ready. There was a lot of stuff going on in my life for school. So I stopped going. I wasn't ready to go back. And it took me 3 years to start trying to go back. And then I did. And eventually I went and I got my degree. I did really well in school. And for a while I was beating the shit out of myself for how long it took me to take that first step to get back into doing school. Going to school. And I realized eventually, why was I beating myself up about it? Yeah, I could have done things differently. I could have done things better, but
you didn't.
I didn't, and the way I did it
ended
ended up working out well for me.
Exactly.
Because
if I had done it the other way, I guarantee I wouldn't have realized I had done it right. And I would have done something else wrong. Yeah. Or I would have done something else that I would lament about there.
Yeah.
Like, even the fact that I realized that I shouldn't be lamenting the inefficiency of which I did school.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't even know that that kind of concept existed if I had not screwed up or taken as long as I did.
Okay.
It is okay to take longer than normal to learn something or to change something about yourself, because the fact of the matter is people are complicated, and even though you've been with yourself for X number of years doesn't mean you know shit about everything that you exist to be. And until you come to a realization that it is okay to not be normal. It is okay. If you were normal all the time, what would you even be? It is completely, utterly okay. It is perfectly perfect that it takes people longer to do one thing or the other. That's what makes people different. You know?
It's like comparing yourself to other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where I was going to go with that. Like, as you said earlier when we talked a while back, not on this podcast, but a community is the only thing that, if you think about it, the community exists because everyone is different, but everyone's part of the community, which makes them the same. Like, I'm not saying it the way you did, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
To be part of a community, you have to be different from that community.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not just like, because otherwise it's an echo chamber.
Yes. So, like, I don't know, what I'm trying to get across here is, like, I see people beat themselves up at their jobs because they're like, oh man, I should be able to do this thing already.
Oh, they should be able to.
No.
No. I'm saying, like, I know exactly what you mean. Like, the people who say, oh, I should be able to. It's like, well, you shouldn't be able to do shit.
You just walked in the door.
Yeah.
There's no way you have enough background knowledge to understand how to do the task that's been handed to you.
Exactly.
You shouldn't expect us... Okay, and I understand it's completely normal to go somewhere and be like, this... Like, you get to the end of the road and you're like, oh, that's what you wanted me to do? Okay, yes, that's what we wanted you to do. But you needed to learn sections A through R to understand where section Q was.
Yeah.
Like, you have to learn. You have to absorb information when you go somewhere. You can't... Like, it's like saying that you went to France. You don't speak French at all, but you went to France, right? Yes. You know how to drive in America. Yes. You know the street names in America. Yes, the concepts are simple. But you wouldn't beat yourself up for not knowing French and going to France and not being able to read the signs. Yeah. You know how to read. You know how street signs work. You know how streets work. You know how roads work. You understand all that. But you're not going to beat yourself up for not knowing French because you don't know it. You're not going to beat yourself for not reading it because you don't know it. So why would you do that at your new job or whatever you do in life? Why would you beat yourself up for not knowing something that is purely based on contextual knowledge when you've never even known the context existed?
Not learning things makes people... I think it goes deeper than that, and I think it's more just like the environment that you're in a lot of times, and just like, I don't know, it's so complicated and deep, just like what causes people to react like that. I wish it wasn't the case, like in the sense that I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I don't wish anyone felt like, oh, I should be able to do this, because that's a shitty feeling. And I know for me personally, a lot of it is I should be able to do this because either A, everyone in my family can do it, or B, because I'm being told I can do it. And that I think is a huge trap to tell people, like, oh, you should be able to do this, you're so smart. And then it's like, well, what if they're just not good at it? Like, it's okay to not be good at things, too. Like, it's okay to be, like you said, it's okay to take longer to do things. Like, maybe you're just not the quickest, like, the sharpest tool in the shed. That's fine. You know what I mean?
Maybe you are a sharp tool, but you're just not in the right shed.
Exactly. You're being used wrong. There's, just to kind of, like, wrap things up, popular YouTuber, Senor Markiplier, actually helped me out a lot in terms of like motivation and stuff like that. But he one of the most profound things I remember hearing from him is, in his eyes, the greatest artists, athletes, musicians, aren't, because they didn't know to try. Right? They didn't know to say like, hey, let me try out baseball, and then they're like, oh shit, I'm the best at baseball. Right? It's but at the same time, like, I guess the point is just do what you want to do. Like, don't let people tell you, like, don't let someone put baby in the corner.
What?
It's a movie reference, never mind. Edit that out.
The reason I was saying it was, you need to give yourself credit. Just because someone else did something faster doesn't mean you don't give yourself credit for what you did. Because for you, it was difficult.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's you wouldn't compare yourself to a deer for running. You wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So why are you? You wouldn't beat yourself up for not being faster than like a cheetah.
I get what you're saying. You're basically, correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying that we're all basically like trying to compare yourself to like, oh, this person could do this, why can't I? It's basically saying like, they're a different person, so they can do different shit than you. So you trying to say like, why can't I be like that, is you're literally saying like, why can't I be exactly this person? Which is like, because you're not.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
But it also applies to other things too. It applies to pain and emotional distress. It's like, so when people are upset about things, and the response is, there are children starving in Africa.
It's like, yeah, I understand that, but why does that?
Because they're in pain doesn't mean you're not. Okay, just because of someone else's suffering doesn't make the suffering you are going through any less.
It doesn't invalidate it.
It puts it on a scale of severity.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it doesn't feel just as bad for you.
I understand what you're saying, the wordings. I would say it's less about it doesn't feel as bad and more of just like, it's just different. It's just like, you're allowed to suffer,
it does,
even though other people are suffering.
What you said earlier was correct.
Yeah.
It doesn't, just because person B is in pain doesn't mean person A's pain doesn't hurt.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean it's not important. It doesn't mean...
You okay there?
I keep burping. It doesn't invalidate, as you said, it doesn't invalidate the things that person A is going through. Mm-hmm. It's like when people say, well, if it's any consolation, I don't have a foot either. Like, why would that make me feel better that you are also missing your foot? Now, to be clarified, I don't actually have any missing feet.
I would say that that's more of trying to show empathy.
Well, no.
Because it's like, I also am missing a foot.
Okay, you're using that specific example.
Just to carry that along, I think it's important to just, like, distinguish that with that example of, like, if it's any consolation, I also blank.
It can usually be empathy, you're right.
Yeah, that's to show, like, oh, I also have been through this, so I do understand to an extent.
Yes, but...
I know what you're trying to get at.
Okay, but what... To use a different example for that, then, it's saying, if it's any consolation, I lost my car today. like you didn't get your promotion, and I lost my car today. Or my car got towed. That doesn't make you feel any better.
No.
I mean, it makes you feel bad that they got their car towed. also makes you laugh because they have 50 parking tickets and they park like an asshole. But, like, it doesn't make you feel any better about not getting that promotion.
Okay. What's your point?
Why should it?
I'm confused.
It's...
Because, like, I
it's the same thing with the comparison. That's what I'm saying, is that...
I would say that a better example is when someone goes... When you're like, oh man, I'm so tired, I had to be at, like, I work at 6 a.m., I worked a 12-hour shift or whatever, and someone's like, oh, you're tired? I had to wake up at 4 and I worked a 15-hour shift. And it's like...
We're both...
It's like, I don't... Why
it's like, no, only I'm allowed to be in pain.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like, I don't... That's like, it's another...
Being second place is just first loser.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. The point is, don't compare yourself to other people. Stop doing that stupid shit.
Being in pain doesn't... It's real.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, in...
conclusion. I sneezed, sorry. In conclusion...
In conclusion, I don't think we can talk about this anymore. Yes. I wanted to say a lot of other things, but I lost track of them with my brain.
So in conclusion, I don't know. I guess it's just like...
I think this went a little long.
It did, but I feel like it's nice to hear people's points of view about things that no one likes to talk about for some reason. I mean, not for some reason, but whatever. We'll get into that later. Yeah, I mean, like, I enjoyed myself. This is usually the part where you say you did too, but I can see that is not the case. So...
He's holding me hostage.
I'm thinking next episode we'll probably be talking about ADHD and our various struggles with that in our lives.
Or maybe something completely different.
Or maybe something completely different. I mean, this is WTF.
What the fuck, man?
Whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, again, I am, let's start the nice jazz outro. I am your host, Griffin.
I'm Joseph, being held hostage, Stockholm Syndrome.
This is Walk Talk Fun. I hope you enjoyed your listen.
Walk Talk? I thought it was Watch Talk.
This is Watch Talk Fun. I hope you enjoyed the listening.
Okay, your smooth, sensual voice.
No, don't turn it off!
Why?
Because I'm still trying to think of something funny to say. I'm not funny. It's really hard for me to think, even on top of being funny.
This is true.
Oh, how we've progressed. This has been Joseph and...
Griffin!
on Watch Talk Fun. Thank you for listening.